Now, what about UKIP? They came second, but they didn't do as well as they had hoped, and all of these sorts of elections are about managing expectations. Nigel Farage not happy.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. He's been on the airwaves this morning and basically saying it was a fix. He says that in his words that he used on Twitter, the postal votes were bent in this constituency. And he went even further when he spoke to our colleagues on BBC Breakfast this morning, when he said that because of migration and the behaviour of ethnic minority communities when they vote, that in some areas of Britain, democracy is dead when it comes to by-elections like this. Here's what he said on BBC Breakfast a couple of hours ago.
I'm talking particularly about by-elections. And don't forget, we've had Tower Hamlets, we've had Birmingham, we've had repeatedly evidence of fraud within the postal voting system. So I'm raising that. I think British democracy should be clean, and I think with this system it's not. And there's a second big element to why Jeremy Corbyn got this big victory, and this is an observation. I'm not commenting at all. But the northern correspondent of The Guardian wrote last Saturday that she knocked on doors in a street in Oldham when nobody spoke English, nobody had ever heard of Jeremy Corbyn, but they were all voting Labour. So there is a very large ethnic vote in this country, in our inner cities, who vote Labour. Indeed, in one of the boxes last night, it was 99% Labour. And almost the electoral process is now dead in those areas.
It's democracy, isn't it?
Now, according to UKIP sources, what they're doing this morning is reviewing the evidence they've got and then deciding whether to proceed with a formal complaint to the returning officer in Oldham or to the police, which is the procedure for these sorts of things. Oldham Council saying they've not received a complaint from UKIP yet, and Greater Manchester Police also saying the same thing. Now, interestingly, Nigel Farage talked about Helen Pidd, the Guardian North of England correspondent there. I was with her on Friday at prayers at Oldham Central Mosque a week ago today, along with the Liberal Democrats and the Conservative candidates, the Conservative candidate as well. And we actually, all of us, saw some of the worshippers arriving at the Central Mosque at Friday prayers, clutching their postal votes and their polling cards. It was just a handful of people, maybe 3 or 4 people I saw. I didn't unfortunately ask anyone about it, but it was an interesting thing to see. And we've spoken to Oldham Central Mosque today, who say they do not condone or have a policy of allowing political campaigning on their site. So they're saying there's lots of reasons that people might have brought their postal votes along, maybe just to have a look, discuss it with their friends and family, get a bit of advice, talk about how they were going to vote. And it's important to reinforce there have been no complaints officially yet of electoral fraud in Oldham West and Royton.
Right, Adam, before